just verify any component. You can see design. So here is a design. Now we know what is a component, what is a controller, helper and style. We worked on all above four elements, and we know. So now we are going to work with the designing part. So design in Lightning. So what it does? So when you have a component, when you have a component, when you add a component to the Lightning page, when you add a component to the Lightning record page, in order to give the CSS. So while adding the component to the Lightning page, in case if you want to give the CSS, so I want to give what is the color of the font, what is the size of the font, what is the box or div box size, what is the width, what is the label, and if you want to specify those attributes, then we use the design. So in yesterday, what we did, so we have worked with the token. Token is a kind of CSS, reusable CSS, but we are giving the CSS in code itself. But I don't want to specify I'll just specify what are all the attributes I want, but I don't specify the colors and all. So what I will do, I will give an option to the admins, or I will give an option to configure the CSS while adding the component. So on fly itself, I want to add the CSS. So the advantage is I can modify the CSS anytime. It's a user entry CSS. It's not like the CSS which is written by default in the code level. So to provide such feature to the admins, we use a design. So generally we don't use such concept anywhere in project level, but we have a feature. So say Lightning in the Lightning itself having a feature to apply the CSS while adding the component to the record page. I'll show you how to implement this. So let's create a component. So here my requirement is, I'll show you a basic example so we can implement the same for any other requirement. So I have a lightning code. So for the lightning code, so I have a lightning code, and in lightning code I have some values like this. So this is a component. Let's say this is a sample lightning component. So I'm going to add this component to the record page. I'll just go to any account record or contact record or any record page. Let's move to account. So you can just go to any account record. So this is a record. This is a custom component we have added to display the number of to display the recent accounts. So similar to that, I want to add the same component. So when I add a same component, I want to specify some of the attributes, designing attributes. I want to specify, so what is the width of the div tag? I want to specify what is the width, and I want to specify what are the colors I want to choose. I want to specify what are the colors, or I want to specify what is a margin from the page level, or I want to specify what is a margin left and what is a border line. So such attributes you can define dynamically. So while adding the component to the detail page, while adding the component to the record page, in order to design yourself, in order to design by the admin guys, so we use the designing part. So I'll implement the same smaller requirement and apply the CSS dynamically while adding the component. Create a component. First I'll create a component. So to add any component to the record page, we have to implement some attribute, some interfaces. I'm adding that. So I have added required interfaces to add my component to the record page. So customer details design. So what I will do, I'm going to add some CSS. Let's say margin left, margin top, width, and border. This is the CSS in the code level, and using lightning code, title, icon name, and applying, and using a table, one for label, two columns with the two columns, one for label and one for value. So I have given the static data. So our focus is how to implement the CSS. The smaller component. This is smaller component. Now let's move to design. So it's a design component. So this is Aura component and this is design component. So this design component is related to this lightning. So which is a part of the lightning bundle. So what I will do. So here in my component, I want to specify some attributes because I want to apply some CSS. So what are all the things I want to declare? What are all the attributes I need? Because I want to apply some dynamic CSS. So you can see in this requirement, I have margin left, I have margin top, width, border, and if you want to take, I'm going to take another style which is padding. So I have different CSS. So but I don't want to give the CSS by default. I want to give the CSS while adding the component to the record page. It's a dynamic kind of CSS. So what you can do, what are all the CSS or what are the parameters that you want to pass dynamically, you can define the attributes. So here I want to give the CSS dynamically. So I'm declaring those attributes. Attribute name equal to So one is margin left. What is the type? Type equal to integer. I'll just pass the number. So margin left 10 pixels. I'll just pass 10. Px is a static text. Same way. So what is the next? Margin top. So you can take any name here. These are just a name. Then name equal to width. Type equal to integer. Overall attribute name equal to border. Type equal to integer. Overall attribute name equal to padding. Type equal to integer. I want to give these details. I want to give margin left, top, width, border and padding dynamically to this div box, to the customer information section. So for this you can pass these values. So you can pass the attribute value from the design component. So how to pass the values? So you can pass like design attribute, what is the name and what is the label you want to take. So I have 5 attributes. So I'm going to take 5 design components, 5 design attributes here. The first one is margin left. This is a name. And what is the label you want to specify? Choose margin left in pixel. So this is a display label, and for the display label you can enter some number because this is a type of number integer. Then margin top, I'll show you how to enter CSS. So same way, label equal to choose margin top in pixel. Then what is the next parameter? Width. Enter width of the section. Enter width of the section. You can specify in pixel and border. Enter border line count. Border lines. And padding. Choose padding in pixel. So these are the input attributes. So margin left, margin top, width, border and padding, and these are the display labels. For these display labels the value will be stored here in margin left and the same value will be passed to the actual component. So now go to any account and edit page. And add the component to the edit page. The moment when you add the component, you can see in the right side you can see choose margin left or choose margin top, enter width of the section, enter border lines, choose padding. So you can enter these values, and what are the values that you enter that will be applicable to, that will be added to your component. That is the purpose of design. So this is the designing part. You can design your own component by entering the values, by entering different values. Now how to implement? So because I have the attributes but I want to pass these attributes to my style. So what you can do, here is a syntax. This is a CSS part. Just copy here. So anyway, margin left is a margin left and colon. Still this is a static text. So the syntax part is you have to write like this. This is a static part. Just put it in a single quote. Plus what is the dynamic part? 10 is the dynamic part. For 10, what are the value you are getting? Margin left. How to use the same name. How to match the attribute value within a component? So you have to use v dot margin left plus p, again px is a static text. Till margin top is a static text. Put it in a single quote plus what is 20 here? 20 is your margin top. I'm using v dot margin top plus again px till with the colon is a static text. Put it in single quote plus 300 is a dynamic value. Here 300 is our width. V dot width plus again start single quote till border. It's a single quote ended plus here one is a border. V dot border plus again start a single quote from px to till end here till end. This is the syntax part. So what are the value? So these are the value providers. So to match the value, what we have to do? We have to use v dot. I'm using the same here. Then end with the bracket. Copy the same text and put it here. So margin left coming from dynamically coming from the input user input, margin left, again margin top, again width, border, all these parameters coming from user input. Again here is a padding. Padding is a static text. Put it in a single quote. Static put it in a single quote till colon, which is a static text, plus here 20 is padding. V dot padding plus pixels is a static text. Put it in a single quote. So the advantage is we can on fly we can design our component with added CSS with the required CSS. So I'm just giving a basic example here. So you can pass any parameters. You can pass even any parameter from design to component. You can pass the title also. You can pass the title, or you can pass any of the parameter from design to actual component. Now go to standard page and refresh. Add the component and apply CSS. What is the margin left? I want to choose 20 pixels left. So the moment when I enter here, you can see the changes in the component itself. See, you have the margin left of 20. And what is the top margin? I need 50 pixels top margin. What is the width of the section? I just need 300 pixels width. And the border lines, I just need one line border. And what is the padding? 20 pixels. Then save it and activate it. Then go back. Now you can see so this is how the component. So but the parameters are passing to the component dynamically. So I'm passing these parameters dynamically. This is how you can design. So this is the purpose of design. So when you are adding any component to the record page, so when you are adding any component to the record page, you can choose your own attributes. So even admins, because so when you add those values in the code level, so they are the standard values. So again, you have to go to code. You have to go to code and apply different CSS. It's very difficult to modify the code changes. But if you want to give an option to the admin guys to just edit their component section with the required CSS attribute, then we go for the design. So any questions here?
So, hey, Nara, can you go to the design page?
Yeah.
So, you can do any attribute. How do the attributes map to those controller or component attributes?
So with the same name,
Oh, same name. Okay.
you need to match the same name. So you have to declare the
Oh,
same name only.
okay, okay, okay. I was just not. Okay, got it. Okay, thanks.